Hey,
Hi.
welcome to Love Intentionally with John and Sandy. I'm John.
I'm Sandy.
And our topic today is that, contrary to popular belief, men do like strong women.
I know. And honestly, I did not believe this until I was studying under Alison Armstrong and had to study, or got to study, 100 men and over a year period. And what they all told me, except one, literally only one, is that they loved a strong woman who was voluntarily vulnerable. And what that means is there are men who love women who need them all the time, and there's nothing wrong with that if your motive is that you actually are doing it. You want them to need you to not get something back. But what I love about these men is that they value the strength that we have and the fact that we can actually take care of our surroundings, that when they're out of our sight, when you're out of our sight, that that we're helpless. Like we don't know how to take care of us. So it gives them a sense of freedom, hi Joyce, so they can actually go do their mission as well. And we all know, women, we can do almost everything a man can do, but we don't necessarily want to all the time. And that's really key to understand and appreciate.
Well, absolutely. And it goes back, if you watch, a lot of times you watch different movies, and of course I'm thinking like to the Marvel movies, right? Men are like, oh, there's this, the femme fatale, right? And they're like, oh, I want the femme fatale, which is a really strong woman. And what you see opens up is this vulnerability that comes around later. And that's really what's so appealing to a man, because like Sandy said, it is that balance of, we want to be men, we want to be needed. We want to know that what we're doing makes an impact, but we also want to know that our woman is able to take care of herself, and more than that we love seeing what the gifts that you bring, and you living in your full power and femininity as well.
Yeah, and I think there's really, when I start working with women and they're having to tease this apart, what we talk about is, do you even give men a space to lead? Do you give them a space to lead? Are you always finishing their sentences? Are you always correcting them that they're not changing the diapers correctly? Are you telling them that they're not loading the dishwasher, or they're not paying the bills the way you want them to? There's a whole litany of things that we probably do as women where we think we could do it better, but do we just put the duct tape over our mouth and allow them the opportunity to lead us, even if it's quote unquote badly? There's an art to this for sure.
Yeah. Look, man, this is something that I have to work on a regular basis myself, because our partners want to be led. As strong as they are, they want to be led. They want to be able to have a date night where everything's taken care of for them. They want to know that we're engaged, that we're leading, that we have our own vision, our own opinion, that we aren't just nodding our head along with what they have. And baby, I know you've shared with me the impact it has on you when I'm not stepping in. Like last week, there was an instance where I wasn't really leading you well. And what did that feel like when I wasn't doing that?
Well, what it does for me, and I know for other women, is that it actually, there's a feeling of, there's frenetic energy. I start getting controlling. I close myself off to you. I know that evening he's speaking of, I was leading into a speaking engagement, and then things were just falling apart around us, and I delivered, but it wasn't at my best because he had not held that structure. And so the part about the whole the date thing is huge. Whenever they plan, a man plans something completely for us where we don't have to think about where we're going to dinner. Sometimes it's fun when John tells me exactly what to wear on a date. Now, you have to understand, when I started doing this type of work 6.5 years ago, I didn't want to be told, what to wear. Like, what do you mean? But there's something beautiful that happens to the nervous system when we don't have to think as women about what the next step is, and we're truly being led. But that also means that you're being led by a trustworthy, noble, man that is leading you in that space. And again, this actually works for same-sex relationships as well. Yeah. Someone's going to always be leaning more in the masculine and the feminine. You'll find that out too.
Yeah, and just to explain a little bit too about what leadership is and what we're looking like, men, this is not an excuse to be dictatorial, right? This is not an exemption to say, hey, go be a dictator, do whatever you want, tell everyone they've got to do it. That is absolutely not, right? That's a very toxic form of masculinity, is this is going to be done at this time and this is the way I want it. And typically men that are doing that when we do that, right, we are coming from a space of we want something to end. We want freedom at all costs. We want something to end because we don't like the way we feel.
Yeah.
And that's gonna transfer across to our partner that we're just dropping her, right? That we aren't there for her at all. So the leadership that's really coming to play here is a benevolent leadership where you're thinking about what would really work so well, what would work for her, what would work for my partner, what would work best for the family, what would work best for my vision, my purpose in this world, and how do I get us there, and then being open to input. So you're sharing what you're going to do, and now granted, not all the time, because I think there's dates that you enjoy when I'm just like, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, and we're talking about just, how you do anything's how you do everything. So there are times when he leans and defers to me about what's next, like planning trips, for example. But we're a broad stroke. If you want to go deeper, we would love to talk to you. You can schedule an appointment with us. We can go deeper. We will touch on this a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I'm just inviting women today. A challenge would be, can you allow the man in your life or your partner to, are you willing to ask them a question? Like, I was thinking about, granted, we're living in sweatpants right now, but you could play with it and go, I'm thinking about maybe wearing this outfit or this outfit. What do you think? And he's like, oh, honey, I don't care. Like, I'm serious. I really want to know, like, what do you think? And just start playing with it a little bit. And if he's like, I really don't care, I'm like, but I know that you do. And you play into it a bit and have fun with it, and it starts creating more polarity and more and something more to push up against. So if you're finding during this COVID time when you're together all the time that maybe there's less sexual tension, or because there's nothing going on at all because you're just in two separate rooms on your own Zoom calls or whatever, bring him back into the fold. Ladies, get his attention. And I'm not talking about dressing sexy necessarily. I mean, like, literally bring him back into your life. And who cares if you don't love the outfit that he picked out? The truth is, you just want to engage him back into your world. Trust me, you probably are missing your partner by now. Yeah. And I don't mean like physically, but I mean missing the connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And men on our side, I would say, use this opportunity to decide, do an evaluation. Am I leading? If you hear your partner asking something or asking for something repeatedly, especially, am I paying attention to this? Is this an area that she's asking me to lead, and maybe I'm not being conscious of it, I'm not being aware of it? So where are the areas that, how are we rating ourselves in our own leadership? And it's not to beat anyone up. It's just, let's be, follow to warrior mode and be brutally honest with ourselves. Where are we at? How are we doing? Where can we be doing a better job? And then take the initiative to change that, to shift that. And maybe that first step is, the challenge would be, if you recognize you've been falling short, to sit down with your partner and have a conversation that you're acknowledging, baby, I'm recognizing that I haven't been leading in this area or this area or this area. I wanted to let you know I'm aware of it. I want to know how I can imagine how that's impacting you. Here's how I feel it's impacting you. And now, is there more?
That is so soothing to the nervous system when someone really does see us. Obviously, when you do that to me and you really own it, and then you follow it up with action, there's nothing better than that. And honestly, when someone actually can call their own foul. So I think that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I challenge you then, ladies, to do that. Ask your partner, to lead you somewhere in the space, and then just trust that whatever it is going to be perfect. And I'd love to hear how that works for you. Like, send me a DM or something. I love to know that some of these tips that we're teaching you are working, and we do. We hear from a lot of you. It means a lot. we love that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And men, be ruthlessly honest with where you're at, where your leadership is showing up, how you're doing, and take action. Take action to change it today.
Yeah.
Right? And again, if y'all find value too, be sure to follow us and share this page with others, because we love getting the message out. We love hearing from you all. And it's always a highlight to be able to come on and do this every day.
Yeah,
so.
And I hope all you mothers had a beautiful Mother's Day, and sending y'all lots of love. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.